Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new series. Welcome to Space Marine 1, the predecessor to Space Marine 2. Let me go and thank the channel members really quick. Thank you to Tyler, Tobias, Walter, Moses, and Jared. All right, I'm going to go and shut up for this cutscene here.
Captain Titus, the Orcs have massacred the Forge World's forces, and they have taken the planetary defense weapons.
Clever of the damned Orcs. Keeps us off their backs while they loot the Titan war machine.
Brace for evasive maneuvers.
Pilot, report!
Starboard engine is dead, Sergeant. We are losing altitude.
Get the ship to safety. We'll find another way down.
Aye, Captain. Thunderhawk Lancer Jove returning to launch bay.
This is your plan.
We need to get to the surface to take out the gun battery. Or do you want to go home already, Sergeant?
Not before having a word or two with the Orcs.
Is that wise, Captain? The Codex Astartes does not support this action.
Try to keep up.
And we have landed on the Forge World Graia here. So, Space Marine 1, what are the differences between this and the second game? I'm just checking out some of the controls there, as you can see. This is actually the first episode that's going to go up on the channel that is recorded post-haste, so after I've actually recorded it and played it. Doing the audio after here. But yes, Space Marine 1. This is a bit of an older game. We play as Captain Demetrius Titus here. a very, very cool Ultramarine here. Of course, 40k universe, always very, very cool indeed. But I don't know if you guys noticed, Titus is voiced by the lovely Mark Strong. Honestly, should have voiced Titus in the second game as well. But yes, we play as a squad of 3 Ultramarines during the Orc invasion of the Forge World Graya. We play as Titus, and we are alongside Sergeant Sidonis and Tactical Marine Leandros. And throughout this series, you're gonna hear me tell Leandros to shut up quite a bit, just because he talks about his precious Codex Astartes 24/7. He is what we in the business call a rule booker. The melee mechanics of this game are a little bit more jank compared to Space Marine 2. Not as polished, but the gunplay is still pretty good. It does feel a little bit floaty. The guns don't feel as heavy as in the second game, but it's still pretty nice. They still feel quite punchy, just not as much in the subsequent game. It looks like we got a war boss there with an AA battery, taking quite a bit of damage here. The game's just now. This is essentially the tutorial tutorial section of the game, and it's basically just going over melee combat and how to shoot and how to aim and stuff like that. We have to blow up these pipes here to get through. Gonna empty the magazine there, and then carve these guys a new asshole. I'm trying here to, while I was actually playing this, I was trying to figure out how to get the actual execute trigger right there. You just have to press the right mouse button and then press the F key at the same time. Looks like we're gonna turn this AA battery around here. The orc inside must be thinking the machine spirit here has betrayed him. It's a very cool looking ship, by the way. Titus is definitely gonna go down with the ship. He is that kind of Ultramarine. The very smart plan of just jumping down to the planet with assault jump packs was a very, very good idea. And as Leandros pointed out, the Codex Astartes does not support this action, and I can see why. Titus has just caused billions of dollars worth of damage there. The amount of servitors that it's going to take to clean up that wreckage is going to be no small task indeed. The visual quality of this game is honestly held up really, really well. We are playing in 1080p, of course. Can't really get the game to run smoothly at anything higher than that, and that's what my monitor is, so. Still looks pretty good. And Space Marine, there it is, the title sequence. That's essentially the end of the tutorial section. Now we get into the actual game.
Damned orcs shot me off course. I've had no word from Leandros, but I'm picking up box chatter from Imperial Guard forces on the ground.
I scarcely thought anyone would be left alive.
You can see me here adjusting some of the volumes here. These older games, man, they really like to blast your eardrums, especially when you load up the game. We need to reunite with Sidonis and Leandros here. We only have a bolt pistol and a combat knife here, as you can see. You can hear the little Gretchens scampering around. The orcs actually admire the Space Marines' will to fight and everything like that, because they are a great force when it comes to battle. So there's some mutual respect going on there. Looks like we got a drop pod up ahead. I'm just gonna adjust the sensitivity to my liking there. Yeah, man, these old games, they're a little clunky, but once you get past the clunkiness, there's a lot of good stuff here. It's like we've unlocked a bolter. Very nice.
This way, boys. I'm gonna kill
Ooh, we got some big boys there. The larger an orc is, the more powerful they are in the hierarchy of the orc society. And as one gains power, they will grow in size. But remember, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And when Demetrius Titus is the one felling you, you tend to fall pretty hard. Popping some heads off the bridge there. A couple of them jumping down. We're gonna make quick work and card these guys up. As I said before, the shooting is actually quite snappy.
Destroy them!
Looks like we have reunited with Sidonis here. You're gonna hear that line a lot. Spice Marine! Not a ton of extra voice lines recorded for this game, but it's still an iconic title for sure. Gonna continue to take these guys out here. Keep spraying them down with that bolter. You gotta remember, guys, the bolter is not a gun. It's a fully automatic RPG, essentially. It's firing rocket-propelled bullets with explosive charges within them at these orcs here. So every one of those shots is essentially firing a shaken-up Red Bull can full of explosives, you know? So a very devastating weapon indeed. Just imagine a fully automatic 30 cal or 30 millimeter cannon with explosive rounds. That's basically the handheld, the standard weapon of the Space Marines. They're basically running around with a tank's primary armament, or some APC armored vehicle's primary armament, holding it in their hands.
The Codex Astartes warns against using jump packs to leap blindly into enemy fire.
Oh, this is actually Leandros, not Sidonis.
Your days as a novice are behind you. Why do you still interpret the Codex so narrowly?
I looked at its rules for guidance.
Ah, shut up, Leandros.
But there are also benefits to thinking for yourself, Leandros.
What a nerd. It's nice to go and play through this game again, having not played it for many years here. Gonna slaughter some Gretchen there with the charge mechanic. I love that. I wish we had that in the second game too. I mean, you kind of do with the melee classes on Space Marine 2, or at least when you're in the melee mode of the melee classes, you can kind of do a sword slam. This is kind of the same deal, just a few less animations. I will say the armor in this looks so much better than in Space Marine 2. Like, they got these guys pimped out. This is like if I were to paint some Ultramarines. It looks awesome. We have the guardsmen there. To an Imperial Guardsman, they would seldom ever see a Space Marine. It would be the equivalent to seeing like running into Keanu Reeves on the subway, you know? Like, that's a once in a lifetime thing if it did happen. But imagine that, but 10 times more rare. You're essentially just seeing Jesus roll up and gun down a bunch of orcs. Got an achievement there. The guardsmen would almost look at Space Marines as mini gods. They understand that they are men, but they are definitely not normal. They are something more. Gonna carve our way through these last couple Gretchen and big boys there. As you can see there.
Rise, guardsmen. You saved yourselves. We thought you did.
We would be, my lord, if not for the lieutenant.
Where will we find this lieutenant?
At the front lines. Follow the trench network to the lieutenant's command bunker.
Carry on, guardsmen. We rendezvous with Sidonis, then we find this lieutenant. We need updated intel on the gun battery.
Going to rally up with Sergeant Sidonis there, the veteran. That is the what we just saw is the only like real visual fidelity drop that I notice is in the cutscenes, which is kind of weird because usually the cutscenes are the ones that hold up. It's usually the graphics that fade first, but in this case, it's opposite. You can hear some of the guardsmen talking about these Space Marines as they walk by, how they venerate them and how they idolize them. The visuals in this game are absolutely stunning, though. I remember playing this game when it originally came out, and I was just shocked that a game could look this good.
Captain, I'm in
It definitely
position at a
wasn't
broken
like the
monument near the
Crisis
guard
of
lines.
its era, but it was definitely did some things that some other games didn't, and it gave some really, really good visual fidelity. Gonna rendezvous with the squad here. A lot of cutscenes here at the start. We have Sedonis standing there just blasting away at some dudes.
Sergeant, I see you found something to keep you busy.
Worry not, Captain.
You see those studs on Sedonis's head? Those indicate centuries of service.
That gun well defended, no mistake.
Very, very old, Sergeant.
But typical orc behavior would be to dismantle or destroy the gun.
And certainly not
Same with
use it to
Titus
keep our
there.
forces at bay.
Leandros is a little baby boy, though.
There's a strategy behind
He doesn't have any.
Their leader is no fool.
This day is getting interesting.
I may have been
Got another achievement there. This game spoon feeds out achievements left and right.
Did he survive?
If the horde hasn't turned on itself, it's still on.
Checking out the chain sword here. We have unlocked it. Now our objective is to reach the command bunker and speak to the lieutenant, who actually looks quite familiar to the guard lieutenant from the second game. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if it's a distant relative. Just gonna finish up hacking up these orc boys, and we're gonna go for a nice little execution there. So how you heal in this game is by the executions. Same as in the second game, except for you don't have an armor bar, you really have just a health bar. That yellow bar kind of functions as an armor bar. It will go down before your health does, but you don't have like a set number of armor bars. It's more of a fluid health and armor system. As you can see, it's going down just very slowly there. And in this game, you're not as I would say you're not as powerful, and maybe that's because we're fighting the orcs, and the orcs are quite nasty and dangerous sometimes. But in the second game, you definitely feel a lot more tanky than you do in this game. This feels like we're playing on the highest difficulty in the second game.
Target that squig.
Ooh, got an explosive squig there, a little suicide bomber. Take him out quite nicely. We gotta watch out for those guys, though. They will sneak up on you, and they will blow your ass to pieces. Another one there. Take him out. Nice and easy. Slowly introducing us to new enemy types. This game is really in the genre of hack and slash more than the second game is. The second game is definitely a hack and slash, but it's more of a shoot 'em up. This game is more of a proper hack and slash, more like Vermintide 2. Puts a lot more of an emphasis on the melee combat than the second game does. Remember to use your environment, folks. Shoot those red barrels, they blow up. Actually brings up an interesting point about video game literacy. Anytime I'll play a video game with someone who doesn't play video games, they don't know things like that. They don't know that red barrels mean they explode. It's kind of interesting the things that you learn when you play video games. How highlighted ledges mean you can climb them, or if there's a yellow tarp on them, like in Far Cry or in Horizon, means you can climb up there. But then you have other games like Assassin's Creed where you can basically climb anything, and it's kind of interesting. We're gonna close in a melee combat distance here. Trying to hit this guy up there, but he's just out of my range. One tapped. Headshot there. It was kind of refreshing to fight some different enemies, although the orcs do, especially the Gretchen, do act like the Tyranids. coming in waves there. Gonna cut that guy apart. Shred him into a fine red mist indeed. See if we can advance here. Nope, another drop ship coming in. Okay, now we've triggered the cutscene. Ooh, we got a big boy. Don't you look tough, sir? Oh shit, that did a lot of damage. And he's down. Well, you were not that tough. Got some more guys to take out here. Let's shoot him from range. I am playing on the normal difficulty here. Mostly playing it just for the story, and as all you guys know, I'm legendarily crap in anything that is not an FPS game. And this is a third-person FPS game, so... Well, I guess that's kind of a third-person shooter. There we go. I was gonna say it's kind of not really what it is. Hearing some of the Vox calls there.
Reinforce their position, hold the line, and stay alive.
And we have reached the command bunker. Looks very, very similar to a certain colonel in the second game.
Mira, 203rd Cadian Regiment.
Captain Titus of the Ultramarines.
You are in command.
I'm all that's left, my lord. Unless my commanders rise from the grave.
Well, Nurgle might have something to say about that.
Lieutenant, the scouts have returned to forward base.
How many?
2.
Damn. I sent out 10. That damn gun. We don't have the numbers to make an assault. And as you might have seen, it's shooting down all our support vessels.
That is why we are here. Leave the gun to us.
Come with me then. I should warn you, my lords. We've got a slight orc problem down here.
And that will be all the time we have for this first episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys like the new style of recording. I'm going to be testing this out on a few series. Probably will never make it into Bannerlord or anything like that. But let me go ahead and thank the channel members really quick. Thank you to Tyler, Mitch, Moses, Jared, Tobias, and who am I missing? Walter. Thank you guys so much for being channel members. And I'll see you guys in the next video I post. Stay safe out there. Peace out.